Hello, Professor Henry. I'm going over week 4 for the project. I do have some errors with this, some of this stuff, which I did message you on Thursday, or not Thursday, yesterday, seeing if we can meet Tuesday after class, or even later in that week, um, to really fix some of the stuff that I'm having issues with, and even maybe some of the stuff last week. Probably the main thing uh, to go over would probably be Game Manager. Um, I am going to work on, things, even after this, later tonight or even Monday, just to try to fix some of those things. And I did see your comments from last week's project. So I will work on those and try to figure things out and get. But for right now, I'll just go over this week and go through each of these and kind of explain what problems I'm kind of having with them, if I do have any, stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into okay. So the first one is tank still moves, shoots for milestone 1, AI still exists for milestone 2, map generation and power up still work for milestone 3. So if I go ahead and click play here, as you can see, player 1 still moves. I can still do pickups. AI still exists. You can still shoot. I can still shoot, etc. And then if I go to the main menu, game here, if I click play, it will also do the map generation and get those going. As you can see, I'm still having those issues with the players. Pretty sure it's with Game Manager, which I want to go over with. But all those still exist from previous milestones and still work. So I'm going to go ahead and go back over to main. Start screen exists with start game options and quit game buttons that work. So I have a main menu here that I have a start game button, a options menu button, and a quit button. I can go ahead and go to options menu. Quit game will work when I quit the application once the game is actually built. And then I can also click start game, and that will load me into the level as well. Option screen exists and has settings for game volume, music volume, and then buttons for 1 to 2 player mode, map of the day, and random map. So I do have a options menu here where I have music volume that's controlled by a slider, game volume controlled by a slider. Then I have a toggle buttons here where if I click one of these and then click start game, it will load into them, whether it's map of the day, random map, or if you do 2 player mode, it'll load it as the 2 player. Game music plays and is controlled by a music volume option. Remember to explain how it works. So if I go ahead and click play, as you can see, if I scroll all the way down, it will actually turn off the music, or not turn it off, but basically have it go to 0. If I scroll up, it'll go all the way back to 100%. So how this works is through an audio mixer which I created, which is for music, which I created in a script here where I have a settings menu which holds my audio mixers, which over here you can see it has music audio with an audio source, which is the music I am playing. For the script wise, how it works, that's the wrong one, edit script. So I have the 2 objects here, which is the audio mixers, and then I have a public options to where you can put those in the objects, which is game volume over here, and then music volume, which allow me to control the volume of the levels. And then I have them down here as well in my sound audio here, where I have two managers here, which is game audio and music audio, which then I would just drag over into the canvas over here. But as you can see, that still works. Game audio is the exact same way. The only difference is it will work within the game level and control all of the sounds for game objects that I attach it to. So you can't really tell right here, but this will control the game volume. It's the same way. Game audio down below, same script. I do have sound objects here for each of those, which I have tank fire here, which is gun sound, tank death, which is death sound, bullet hit, which is hit object, power up sound, which is pickup sound, and then buttons on menus. So I have a press button object here, which is called bullet for now, just because I have different audios I'm still kind of creating. But whenever I click these buttons here, like start game, I have it down here in my event list. It will, I put the press button audio object over here, and then it'll play on audio source play. Same with options, quit. If I press the back button, it'll do it. Audio, sliders and everything all have it. But to kind of showcase, how these work, I have a destroy audio script here where all it holds is my lifetime for it, which is how long will the audio play. And then like on my projectiles, I'm instantiating those sound objects here. I have a bullet sound, which is firing, and then a hit object, which is once it hits like an enemy tank, it will do a sound. If it hits the wall, it'll do a sound. So I have it down below with going by tags, and then when the bullet gets created, it will play the bullet sound. Same with the enemy tank health. When the enemy tank health reaches 0, it will basically play that sound when it either dies or even when it gets hit. That's tank weapon. Once the enemy hits 0 health, or even when it gets hit, it will play the death sound for it. So I'll just go ahead and I'm gonna mute that real quick. First things first, I want to check to make sure. Okay, I need to set that to main real quick here for testing purposes, to showcase to you. That works. If I go to start game, it will load in the game, and it'll play in the background music. Which that is kind of a little too loud here. Let me see if I can edit that when I actually in the inspector. Okay, so as you can see, when I shoot the bullet here, it will fire and play a sound. If I hit the wall, it will hit the wall and play a sound. If I hit the tank, it will play that sound. If I do a go to the pickup, it will play the pickup sound. If the tank dies, which my tank died, unfortunately. I need to do a little better aim. Why is that going through? That wasn't happening before. It's not defined. Oh, I know why. It's because of the collision. Okay. That would be why. That was something I didn't add when I created that. Okay. But I'm gonna go back in. I'm gonna mute that again. Why is it not getting destroyed? That's odd. Huh. I wasn't having that issue before. Okay, that'll have to get fixed. Anyway, back to these. Player live scores and high scores show in game UI and UI functions correctly in both single player and multiplayer. So right now I only have it for single player, and there are some issues with that. Player lives work, scores work, but because I haven't gotten it to where, based on whatever the player chooses, it's causing the scripts to either combine or get cross-fired, and it's not wanting to work correctly. And then for high scores, I tried using the code in the lecture for it, because I know you don't want us to look up YouTube videos and stuff like that unless for stuff like that. I don't know if it's because I'm using a later version of Visual Studios, but iChangeable will not actually show up at all for Visual Studios, at least for me. It'll show up like iChanger, but for the exact wording of what you were wanting, it won't. And I'm not sure as to why it was doing that. But I'll go ahead and showcase my player lives where that is at, to showcase what am I doing with that and how it works. Score is the same as last time, where I'll click the score and I'll showcase that. But I have a int variable here for player lives, representing you type in 2 lives for the player, or 1 life, and then this will actually call it in the UI, where I can store it. And then this will get the text of it. So I have it in here as if the player equals null, and player lives less than or equal to 1, it'll subtract a life from it. So if I put in 2 lives in the inspector, then I play, player dies, it will go back to 1 life, or it'll subtract 1 life. And then once I run out of all those lives, it will go back to over here to where it'll load the game over screen. Similar with my score setting over here, it's similar setup. I remember what I was trying to do with that. Okay. This is where, once I get the text score here, and it'll call it and add it based on the score value. So if I kill a tank, it will add that score value to it. Unfortunately, I'm having the issue where I'm having 2 texts, the score and the lives. It's not wanting to show both of them. It's wanting to do that error where it'll show score twice. I have it thinking it's something to do with text and text being the same, without having it be an array or something like that. 2-player mode utilizes separate controls and split screen. The cameras and controls do work, but in terms of, and they're in the same scene, but the button doesn't work right now. I've been trying to figure out a way to get it to work. I need to make an option to where you can adjust that in a game. But as you can see, I have two split screens here. One for player 1, which is being moved by WASD, and then I have the other player 2 here, which is being moved by IJKL, and they are both working how they should be. Unfortunately, both of them, when I press space, they shoot. I need to make it to where if player 2 presses a different button, it'll shoot. So I'll fix that issue, but as you can see, they're both in the same scene. There's two different cameras, and there's two separate controls that are working it. Options for high score persist between sessions. Again, I understand you have to store it as like player prefabs. I did look that up, but in terms of like what we were using in that lecture for canvas and stuff, it wasn't wanting to work in mine, which I'll just kind of showcase in mono behavior. Here it was like eye changeable. System.sterilized field. Oops. And then it was like eye changeable. Maybe it was system.sterilized. I don't remember now. Let me go to it real quick to showcase. System sterilized, that's what it was. I compare. Yeah, as you can see, like on yours it says I comparable. I only have I compare and I compare with brackets, which I tried using these with like score data and stuff like that, but and even this, I even like just copy this just to test it out in a test script, and it wasn't even wanting to like work correctly. Like this was being an error, and all this was being an error. So I'm not sure if it's because I have a newer version of Unity or not. But if you have like an idea, I'll gladly, see if I can fix that or something like that. But I just couldn't get it to work for some reason. Game ends when both player lives are 0. So this works for just single player mode. But with 2-player mode right now, it's not wanting to work. It's having some issues with some of this stuff. Unfortunately, in order for me to show you, I'd basically either have to scrap this stuff here and or not scrap it, but just delete it or highlight it out just to even show it, unfortunately, which is would probably be a problem. Game tracks score on screen and in UI high score for both players. So this was working with score, but I'm not sure as to why it's having issues now. I have a feeling it's because there's 2 players again. Because before I added that 2-player portion of this yesterday, a lot of this stuff was working fine, but once I added that 2-player option, it just caused a lot of this to get ruined, which, I understand I need to go back and fix it, but I'm just getting stuck on some of this stuff. Game Manager exists, so this does exist, unfortunately. I haven't really done anything with it, because I've been trying to get all this other stuff working. I do have that in game settings. Unfortunately, it's the same as last week. I know I should make progress on this, but I've just been trying to get this other stuff fixed. Bug error free. My Visual Studios is bug free. I have no errors in that. It runs. But I'm still having errors when I run the editor and stuff. And I think it's because I'm calling multiple things without really having a proper management system in here. Comments. I haven't. All of the comments for all my previous scripts are still there. I did add a pause menu, which, or not. Well, I'll showcase that later. I have it set to where with player lives, when the player loses lives, subtract it. Settings menu. It will have comments. I don't know why I didn't add all this. I had all these comments in here, but now they're gone. I'm not sure as to why. But I'll fix that here. I'll just have to do a resubmission with this, unfortunately, anyway. But I'll add comments to this stuff here that I, for some reason, didn't save. Project organization. So I have it set in different folders here. So I have an audio folder, game settings folder, scenes folder, scripts folder, art. Audio, I have sound objects for all my sound objects. And then I have sounds for all of the sounds I brought in. Game settings has all of my settings that I'd have for like scripts, game manager, stuff like that. Other prefabs are basically just like, map generation, player spawn, spawn pickup, transition panels. And then I have my canvases, and then I have my AI objects in here. And then I have my tank objects here that the tank interacts with or shoots, etc. Tank prefabs, all of my tanks. Materials, human scripts, which is the player, and then AI scripts. And then I have scenes, and then I have scripts. Game exceeds minimum requirements. So that was that little preview hint here where I added a pause menu in the game. So if I go to main here, I have a pause canvas with a pause menu. It's not showcasing right now because it's only when the player presses a button. So I have a menu here where if the player presses the menu, it'll take them to the main menu. If they press the quit button, it'll quit the game. If I click resume, it'll resume the game to where it is. So I'll go ahead and showcase that. As you can see, like the things there, but if I click, I gotta uncheck that here. As you can see, like the game will move, but if I press pay, it pauses the game, but the music's still playing. Which I can fix that. I just need to go into the script there and make it to where when you pause the game, it'll pause the music as well. But as you can see, if I click resume, why is this not working now? It was working literally just a second ago. Is it because I accidentally clicked out of the thing there? Why is that not working now? That bugs me. That literally was just working a second ago. Okay, that's frustrating me. That literally was just working a second ago. Oh wait, I might know why it's doing that. It is because of the canvas. I need to make that where it shouldn't show up. Okay, now it's working. I did notice that with canvases where if you have multiple, it will not work with each other. if I click menu, it should load back to main menu. I'm not sure why it's not wanting to do that. I have a feeling it's because there's 2 tanks in the game. That might be why. But if I click quit, there it goes. I wonder if it's just because it was trying to get through things. Anyway, the pause menu does work. I think it's just because it's the 2-player mode that's causing it to bug out. But that's really all I wanted to showcase, Henry. If you have any, again, comments, sections for some of this stuff to fix, I did message you, like I said, to see if we can go over some of this stuff and just kind of go from like week to week just to get some of this stuff fixed. Because I mostly want to learn how this stuff works. I don't really want it to be, you basically do it. I just kind of want some pointers and stuff like that. But that's all I wanted to showcase for today.